The champagne glass shattered against Italian marble. Marcus Bentley stood frozen in his penthouse office, 73 stories above Manhattan, staring at his hands. They were shaking. They hadn't stopped shaking for 6 hours. Elena's body had been cold for 4. Mr. Bentley? His assistant's voice crackled through the intercom. The board meeting starts in 20 minutes. Should I? Cancel it. His voice came out strangled, unrecognizable. Cancel everything. He walked to the floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city he'd conquered. Titan Industries. $4 billion. 32,000 employees. His name on buildings across 3 continents. All of it felt like ashes now, because Elena was gone, and he had killed her. Not with a gun, not with poison, but with words so vicious, accusations so cruel, that her heart simply stopped. The doctors called it acute cardiac arrest, triggered by extreme emotional distress. The autopsy would say natural causes. But Marcus knew the truth. He had murdered his wife with his paranoia. The forensic accountant's report sat on his desk, delivered 30 minutes after the ambulance took her away. Every transaction verified, every expense legitimate. Every single bank statement he'd confronted her with had been doctored, forged, planted by someone who wanted to destroy them. And it had worked. Elena had tried to explain. She'd begged him to listen. But he'd been so certain, so convinced by the evidence, that he'd screamed at her in front of their staff, called her a thief, a gold digger, told her she'd never been anything but a parasite feeding off his success. The woman who'd given him everything. The woman who'd built his empire with her bare hands while he was still sleeping in a Honda Civic. Marcus pressed his forehead against the cold glass and closed his eyes. 22 years earlier, where IT began, the radiator in Marcus's studio apartment had died again. December in Detroit was unforgiving, and the landlord stopped answering calls 3 months ago. Marcus sat at his second-hand desk, wrapped in 2 jackets and a blanket, his breath visible in the air, typing code on a laptop, held together with duct tape. 26 years old. Computer science degree from a state school he'd paid for with 3 jobs, and student loans that would haunt him until he was 50. No connections, no money. Just an idea that kept him awake at night. Supply chain optimization software. Every major corporation was hemorrhaging money on inefficient logistics. But the existing solutions were clunky, expensive, and required complete system overhauls. Marcus had designed something different, modular software that integrated with existing systems using predictive algorithms. He developed in his thesis that nobody seemed to understand. Nobody except Elena Rodriguez. He'd met her at a tech meet in a church basement where 20 people showed up for free pizza and networking. She was the only one who asked questions during his pitch that actually made sense. Your algorithm assumes consistent supplier reliability, she'd said, arms crossed, dark eyes sharp. But what happens during disruption events? Natural disasters, strikes, geopolitical issues? Marcus had blinked. Nobody else had even gotten that far into the concept. There's a secondary predictive layer, he'd explained, pulling up his laptop. It monitors news feeds, weather patterns, political indicators, and adjusts routing in real time. She'd nodded slowly. That's actually brilliant. You understand supply chain? I have an MBA in operations management and 6 years at Fordham Logistics. She'd smiled a careful professional smile. I got laid off 3 weeks ago. They're liquidating the whole division. Marcus's heart had started racing. "Can I buy you coffee?" "I don't drink coffee." "Tea? Water? Anything that keeps you talking to me for another hour?" That smile had widened just slightly. "You can buy me dinner and explain why you think you can compete with SAP and Oracle with software built in a studio apartment." They'd gone to a diner, talked until 2 a.m. Elena had pulled out a notebook actual paper, which Marcus found charming, and started sketching business models, breaking down his technology into marketable modules, identifying industries beyond manufacturing. "You're thinking too small," she'd said, tapping her pen against the table. "You're focused on proving the technology works, but investors don't fund technology. They fund businesses. You need to show them the market, the revenue model, the competitive moat. I don't know how to do any of that. I do." She'd met his eyes directly. "I've built go-to-market strategies for 3 different startups. I know how to talk to investors, how to structure deals, how to build partnerships. Your code is extraordinary, Marcus, but code doesn't sell itself. Are you offering to help me?" "I'm offering to build this with you." She'd slid her notebook across the table. 50-50 partnership. You handle technology and product development. I handle everything else: business development, operations, finance, legal. We bootstrap until we have enough traction to pitch investors." Marcus had stared at the notebook, at the careful diagrams, the projected revenue streams, the partnership structure she'd already sketched out. "You just met me 4 hours ago. I've been in operations for 6 years. I can read people, and I can read opportunities." She'd leaned forward. "You're brilliant but naive. You'll get eaten alive by the first investor who smells blood. You need someone who knows how to navigate the business world. And I need a product that's actually revolutionary instead of incrementally better. This is the best opportunity either of us is going to get. Why should I trust you?" "You shouldn't, not yet," Elena had smiled. "But we'll draw up a partnership agreement. Get it reviewed by lawyers. Everything formal and protected. And then we'll build something that changes the industry. Or we'll fail spectacularly and both end up waiting tables. Either way, it'll be more interesting than what we're doing now." Marcus had looked at this woman sharp, confident, unflinching, and made the decision that would define his life. "Okay, partners." They'd shaken hands across a sticky diner table at 2:47 in the morning. The first year, Elena moved into Marcus's studio apartment 2 weeks later. Not romantically, purely practical. She'd been couch surfing since the layoff, and they needed to minimize expenses. Marcus slept on the couch. Elena took the bed. They worked 18-hour days. She was ruthless about efficiency. Canceled his streaming subscriptions. Switched to a cheaper phone plan. Made him bring lunch instead of buying it. Every dollar saved was a dollar they could invest in the business. "We're calling it Titan Systems," she'd announced one morning, holding up a logo design she'd commissioned for $50. "Strong, resilient, mythological. It positions us as fundamental infrastructure, not just another tech tool." Marcus had loved it immediately. Elena handled the business license, the LLC paperwork, the tax registrations, set up their accounting system, built their first website, wrote their pitch deck. Meanwhile, Marcus refined the code, fixing bugs, improving the algorithms. 3 months in, Elena landed their first client, a small regional distributor willing to pilot the software for $2,000 a month. "It's not much," she'd said, "but it's proof of concept. And they're giving us a case study if it works." It worked. Within 6 weeks, the distributor had reduced delivery times by 23% and cut logistics costs by 18%. Elena turned that into a case study, 3 testimonials, and 5 more sales meetings. "You're incredible at this," Marcus had told her one night, watching her practice her pitch. "I'm good at reading what people need and giving it to them." She'd shrugged. "You're incredible at building things nobody else can imagine." "We're complementary." That was the thing about Elena. She never took compliments as pure flattery. She analyzed them, contextualized them, made them part of a larger strategic framework. It should have been clinical, cold, but Marcus was falling in love with her anyway. The shift, it happened gradually, then all at once. Working side by side 20 hours a day, celebrating small victories, a new client, a bug fixed, a positive review, supporting each other through failures, a lost deal, a crashed server, a bounced check. Marcus noticed the way Elena bit her lower lip when she was concentrating, the way she always made sure he ate when he got too focused on coding, the way she'd put her hand on his shoulder when she leaned over to look at his screen, and how that touch lingered just a fraction longer each time. One night, 9 months into the partnership, they landed their first major client, a $50,000 annual contract with a mid-sized manufacturing company. Elena had negotiated for 3 weeks, navigating legal reviews and executive approvals. When she got the signed contract, she'd screamed. Actually screamed with joy. Marcus had jumped up from his computer. "We got it? We got it." She'd thrown her arms around him, and he'd kissed her, just like that. No planning, no smooth move, just an overwhelming surge of emotion, gratitude, admiration, attraction, joy, all compressed into a single moment. She'd kissed him back. When they'd finally pulled apart, both breathless, Elena had whispered, "This might complicate things." "Probably. We should set boundaries. Keep it professional." "Absolutely." They'd lasted 6 more hours before abandoning that plan entirely. Building the empire, year 2. Marcus had never believed in a power couple until he became half of one. Elena was extraordinary at business, but even better at partnership. She never made unilateral decisions. Every major choice, pricing, hiring, product development, they discussed together. She'd present her analysis, Marcus his perspective, finding solutions neither considered alone. "You're the only person who's ever actually listened to me," Marcus told her one night. "That's because you're the only person who's ever had ideas worth listening to," she'd replied. "Most men wanted women to nod and smile. You actually want me to challenge you. Your challenges make me better. That's the point of partnership." By the end of year 2, Titan Systems had 17 clients, $800,000 in annual recurring revenue, and 3 employees. They'd moved into a real office, a modest space in a shared building, but it had a conference room and everything. Elena had grown the business methodically. She never overspent on sales and marketing, never hired before they needed to, never promised features Marcus couldn't deliver. Every decision was calculated, data-driven, sustainable. "We're not trying to be a unicorn overnight," she'd explained to a pushy investor. "We're building a real company with real revenue and real profitability. We'll grow when growth makes sense." The investor had passed. Elena hadn't cared. Venture capital comes with strings. We give up equity, we give up control, we give up the ability to make long-term decisions. "I'd rather grow slowly and own our future than grow fast and work for someone else." Marcus had trusted her completely. on everything. The proposal, year 3. Titan Systems crossed $2 million in revenue. They had 23 employees, 48 clients, and industry analysts were starting to notice them. Marcus took Elena to the same diner where they'd first talked about partnership. "This feels ominous," she joked, sliding into their usual booth. "Are you breaking up with me or the company?" "Neither." He'd pulled out a small box. "I'm upgrading our partnership agreement." Elena had stared at the engagement ring, modest but beautiful, exactly her style, for a long moment. "Marcus Bentley, if this is your way of locking me into a below-market salary, will you marry me?" She'd laughed, and her eyes had gotten shiny. "You're supposed to say romantic things. Quote poetry. Tell me I'm your soulmate. You're my soulmate, my business partner, my best friend, and the only person who's ever believed in me when I was nobody. You've given me everything. I want to give you everything back. Marry me, please, yes." She grabbed his face and kissed him hard. "Yes. Obviously, yes. Did you actually think I might say no? You're unpredictable." "I'm really not. I'm the most predictable person, you know. I make spreadsheets about everything." "Did you make a spreadsheet about whether to marry me?" "Marcus, I made that spreadsheet 2 years ago. This proposal is right on schedule." He'd laughed until he cried. They'd gotten married at City Hall 3 months later. Small ceremony. Elena's parents, Marcus's mother, their core employees. Nothing fancy. They'd reinvested what they would have spent on a wedding into the business. "We'll have a big party when we IPO," Elena had promised. The acceleration, years 4 through 10, with Elena as cool and Marcus as CTO, Titan Industries exploded. Elena had pivoted their strategy. Instead of just selling software licenses, they offered full supply chain transformation services. Consulting, implementation, ongoing optimization. Higher margins, stickier clients, more defensible business model. She'd also pushed them into adjacent markets. Healthcare systems needed supply chain optimization. Government agencies, retail companies. Anywhere that products moved from point A to point B, Titan could make it faster and cheaper. By year 7, they had 400 employees and $50 million in revenue. By year 10, they had 2,500 employees and $200 million in revenue. Marcus had become the face of the company, the brilliant founder with a revolutionary technology. He gave TED Talks, got profiled in Forbes, won industry awards. But inside the company, everyone knew the truth. Elena was the engine. She'd built their executive team, negotiated their partnerships, structured their finances, defended them against larger competitors trying to crush them or acquire them. "You're the genius," she told Marcus when he'd suggested making her co-CEO. "I'm just the person who makes sure your genius reaches the world. Elena, you've made half the major decisions." "Exactly. Half. We're partners, equal. We don't need matching titles to prove that." So Marcus stayed CEO and Elena stayed Q, and together they built something extraordinary. They'd also built a life. A real home, beautiful, but not ostentatious. Dinner parties with friends, weekend hikes. Normal things despite the growing wealth. Elena had insisted on staying grounded. Money is a tool, not a trophy. We didn't build this company to collect toys. We built it to create something meaningful. She'd been his moral compass, his reality check, his anchor. The IPO year 12. When Titan Industries went public, the company was valued at $3.2 billion. Marcus and Elena stood on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange, watching their stock price climb. They were billionaires, both of them. "We did it," Marcus had whispered. "We did." Elena had squeezed his hand. "Now comes the hard part. What's harder than this? Staying who we are. Staying us. Success changes people, Marcus. We need to promise each other that we won't let it change us. I promise." She looked at him with those dark, sharp eyes. "I'm serious. The money, the fame, the pressure, it makes people paranoid. It makes them forget who helped them get there. Promise me you'll remember." "Elena, I could never forget what you've done. What you mean to me, never." She'd kissed him. "I love you. I love you too." If he'd known that was the beginning of the end, he would have held that moment forever. The poison starts year 14. It started so small, Marcus almost didn't notice. Jason Trent joined as chief financial officer. Harvard MBA, 20 years at Goldman Sachs, impressive pedigree. The board had pushed for an experienced finance executive as they scaled. Elena had interviewed him extensively. Jason was smart, polished, and ambitious. He modernized their financial systems, tightened their reporting. He also started having private conversations with Marcus. "Can I be candid with you?" Jason had said, "I'm concerned about some of Elena's spending decisions." Marcus had frowned. "What do you mean?" "She's approved several expenses that seem excessive. The company retreat in Napa, $400,000. The office renovation, $2.3 million. The executive coaching program, $150,000 annually. Those all had business justifications. Employee retention, workspace productivity, leadership development. But perception matters, Marcus. The board is starting to notice that Elena approves a lot of high-cost initiatives that benefit her directly. She runs the retreats, she designed the office, she selected the coaching program. She runs operations. Those fall under her purview. I understand. I'm just flagging it as something to monitor, between you and me." Marcus had dismissed it. Jason was new, didn't understand the company culture. But then Sarah Chun, the head of HR, mentioned something similar. "Elena's been hiring a lot of her former colleagues lately," Sarah had said carefully. 7 new directors in the past 6 months, all from her network. They're qualified, but the concentration is raising questions. Some employees feel like there's an inner circle forming. Elena knows talent. She's bringing in people she's worked with successfully before. Absolutely. I just wanted you to be aware of the optics." Then it was David Park, VP of Sales, commenting on Elena's travel schedule. "She's been on the road a lot. Always first class, always 5-star hotels, which is fine for a coup, but combined with the other spending. Individually, each comment was minor, explainable, normal even, but together they formed a pattern, and that pattern planted a seed of doubt. The evidence year 15. Marcus had never looked at Elena's expense reports before. Why would he? They trusted each other completely. She handled operations. He handled technology and vision. Their partnership worked because they stayed in their lanes. But after 6 months of subtle comments, Marcus had finally pulled her expense history and found things he couldn't explain. Wire transfers to accounts he didn't recognize. $50,000, $75,000, $120,000, all labeled consulting fees or strategic services. Credit card charges at luxury retailers. Art galleries. A jewelry purchase for $83,000. travel expenses that seemed excessive even for a coup, private jet charters, extended hotel stays. Marcus had stared at the reports for hours. There had to be explanations. Elena wasn't careless with money. She was the most financially disciplined person he knew. He'd asked Jason to investigate quietly. "I'll have forensic accounting take a look," Jason had said gravely, confidentially. "We should know what we're dealing with before making accusations." The forensic report came back 2 weeks later. $4.7 million in questionable expenses over 3 years. Wire transfers to shell companies. Personal purchases on corporate cards. Unexplained cash withdrawals. "This is embezzlement," Jason had said, sliding the report across Marcus's desk. "I'm sorry, Marcus. I know how much Elena means to you, but the evidence is clear." Marcus had felt his world tilt. "There has to be another explanation. I've been in finance for 20 years. I know what corporate fraud looks like. I'm sorry. This is it." Marcus should have gone to Elena privately, should have asked questions calmly, given her the benefit of the doubt. But he didn't. The betrayal felt too enormous, the evidence too clear, and worst of all, he felt stupid. All those executives had seen it before he did. They'd tried to warn him, and he defended her blindly. He'd called an emergency board meeting, presented the forensic report, watched directors' faces shift from confusion to anger. "We need to remove her from operational authority immediately," one director had said, "before she can move more money." "She's still my wife," Marcus had said quietly, "which makes this worse. She's been stealing from you personally, Marcus, from all of us." They'd voted to suspend Elena's authority. 7-1. Marcus had been the only vote against. Then he'd gone home to confront her. Elena had been in the kitchen, cooking dinner like it was a normal evening. She'd smiled when he walked in. "Hey, you're late." "I made $4.7 million. Marcus's voice had been ice. "You stole $4.7 million from our company." She'd frozen. "What? Don't lie to me. I have the forensic report. Wire transfers, personal purchases, shell companies." "How long did you think you could hide it?" "Marcus, I don't know what you're talking about." "Stop." He'd slammed the report on the counter. "I have evidence. Bank records, transaction logs, your signature on wire authorizations. Stop insulting me with denials." Elena had picked up the report with shaking hands, flipped through it. Her face had gone pale. "This is wrong. Marcus, these transactions, I didn't authorize these. Some of these accounts, I've never seen them before. You're the only one with access to these accounts." "That's not true. Jason has access, Sarah has access for HR expenses, David can approve sales costs. Are you seriously trying to blame my executive team? I'm telling you I didn't do this." Her voice had risen, cracking with emotion. "Marcus, we built this company together. Why would I steal from us? This is our money, our company, our life. I don't know, maybe you got greedy. Maybe you resented that I'm the public face. Maybe you felt entitled." "Entitled? I worked 18-hour days for 15 years. I built the operations, the partnerships, the culture. I turned your code into an empire, and apparently helped yourself to millions while doing it." "I didn't." Tears were streaming down her face now. "Marcus, please look at me. You know me. I would never. I thought I knew you." His voice had been cold, distant. "Apparently I was wrong." The next part replayed in Marcus's mind like a nightmare he couldn't wake from. Elena had begged him to investigate further. to check the digital signatures, to audit the other executives, to look at the metadata on the wire authorizations. But he'd been so certain. The evidence seemed irrefutable. You're suspended from all company activities effective immediately. The board voted. You can't access systems, can't enter buildings, can't contact employees. You're locking me out of the company I built? You did this to yourself. Marcus, I'm your wife. Doesn't that mean anything? You're my wife who's been stealing from me for 3 years. That means everything. Elena had looked at him with such devastation, such complete heartbreak, that for a moment he'd almost wavered. But then he'd remembered the numbers, $4.7 million, and he'd hardened his heart. I want you out of the house by tomorrow. I'm filing for divorce. Please don't do this. Please. I love you. I would never hurt you. Just give me time to prove. Time. You had 15 years. You had my complete trust. And you destroyed it. I didn't. Marcus, please, get out. This is my home. This is my home. I bought it with my company that you tried to rob. That was the moment he'd seen something break in her eyes. After everything, she'd whispered. After I gave you everything, this is what you think of me. This is what you've shown me. She'd walked to the door, turned back one last time. I didn't do this. And when you realize that, when you understand what's really happening, I hope you can forgive yourself. Because I don't think you will. Then she'd left. The final conversation. Elena had tried calling, texting, emailing. 73 attempts in 2 days. Marcus had blocked her. She'd shown up at his office on the 3rd day. Security had escorted her out. On the 4th day, she'd managed to corner him in the parking garage. Marcus, please. I hired a forensic accountant. He found irregularities in the report. The wire authorizations. The digital signatures don't match my encryption key. Someone forged them. Your accountant that you're paying to tell you what you want to hear? He's a former FBI investigator. Marcus, just look at the data. I've seen enough data. It all points to you. It points to someone framing me. Can't you see that? Someone with access to the same systems. Someone who benefits from removing. Stop trying to blame everyone else for your crimes. They're not my crimes. She'd grabbed his arm, desperate. Marcus, I love you. I have only ever loved you. I built this entire empire for you. I believed in you when you had nothing. I gave you everything. Please don't throw away 15 years because someone is manipulating you. He pulled his arm away. The only manipulation here is what you're trying to do right now. Then prove me wrong. Let me see the original server logs. Let me compare the encryption signatures. Give me 1 day to show you the evidence has been tampered with. Elena, you've had 15 years to show me who you really are. And it turns out you're just another person who saw me as a meal ticket that had been too much, too cruel, too far. Her face had crumpled. You really believe that after everything? The money doesn't lie, but I'm lying? The woman who slept on your couch and ate ramen for 2 years? Who turned down 6-figure job offers to build your dream? Who worked 100-hour weeks while you got all the credit and glory? I'm the gold digger? $4.7 million says yes? Elena had looked at him for a long moment, and something in her eyes had died. You know what the saddest part is? Her voice had been quiet, broken. I spent 15 years building you up, protecting you, making sure you got credit for everything we built together. And the second someone tells you I'm the enemy, you believe them, without question, without investigation, without even trusting your own memories of who I am. The evidence? Forget the evidence. What about us? What about the 1,000 nights we stayed up planning this company? The failures we survived together? The promises we made? Does none of that matter against some bank records? Not when the bank records prove you're a thief. She'd smiled then. A sad, broken smile that Marcus would remember forever. I hope the empire keeps you warm at night, Marcus. Since you chose it over me, you made that choice when you stole from it. I didn't steal, but you'll figure that out eventually, and it'll destroy you. She turned to walk away, then stopped. I have an irregular heartbeat. Did you know that? My doctor found it 3 months ago. Stress-induced arrhythmia. She told me to avoid extreme emotional distress. I didn't tell you because I didn't want you to worry. Marcus had felt a flicker of concern, despite his anger. Elena, I'm telling you now because when this ends badly, I want you to remember this conversation. I want you to remember that I tried, that I begged you to listen, that I warned you. Is that a threat? It's not a threat, it's just the truth. Goodbye, Marcus. I hope your empire was worth it. She'd walked away. That was the last time he spoke to her. The final day. Elena had sent him one last email the next morning. Subject: the truth. Marcus, I'm attaching my independent forensic analysis. I don't expect you to read it. You've made up your mind, but I need you to know that I never stopped loving you. Not when we had nothing. Not when we built everything. Not even now when you've chosen to believe the worst of me. I gave you 15 years. My youth, my brilliance, my dreams. I poured myself into Titan because I believed in you. In us. You were right about one thing. I did help myself to something. I helped myself to the privilege of being your partner, of building something extraordinary together, of loving someone with all my heart. If that makes me a thief, then I'm guilty. But I never stole your money, Marcus. I only ever gave you mine. Marcus had deleted the email without reading the attachment. The final moment. The next afternoon, Elena had shown up at the corporate headquarters. Security called Marcus immediately. She's in the lobby. She seems very upset, sir. Should we call the police? No. Send her up. Marcus regretted it the moment he said it. But some part of him, remembering who they'd been, couldn't have her arrested. Elena entered his office looking devastated. Eyes red, hands shaking. I just need 5 minutes, she'd said. Then I'll never bother you again. Make it 2. She'd laid a folder on his desk. These are the real transaction logs, unaltered. They show wire authorizations came from Jason's IP address, not mine. He used my credentials. He made a mistake. He didn't mask his location data. Jason doesn't have access to your credentials. He's the CFO, Marcus. He has administrative access to everything. Please just look. I'm done looking at fabricated evidence. It's not fabricated. I had 3 independent analysts verify it. Jason is embezzling from the company and framing me. He's been planning this for months. He isolated me from you, poisoned executives against me, forged these documents, ENOUGH. Marcus had stood up. I'm tired of the conspiracies. You got caught. Accept responsibility. I'm trying to save you. Jason's stealing from Titan. When the real audit happens, you'll be liable. You'll lose everything. I've already lost everything. You made sure of that when you betrayed me. I didn't betray you. Elena's voice had cracked. I built you. I made you. You were sleeping in your car when I found you. You had nothing. No money. No connections, no business sense. I took your brilliant, broken code and turned it into an empire. I worked 100-hour weeks. I sacrificed every other opportunity. I chose you over everything. And you got paid very well for it. I didn't do it for money. I did it because I loved you. Because I believed in you. Because we were supposed to be partners. We were partners. Until you decided to rob me. I never robbed you. She'd been crying now, gasping for breath. Marcus, please. Please listen. I can prove everything. Just give me one chance. You had 15 years of chances. After everything I gave you. After I believed in you when nobody else would. This is how you repay me? Repay you? You think you're owed something? I'm owed basic trust. I'm owed the benefit of the doubt. I'm owed you listening to me for 5 minutes instead of believing people who've known you for 2 years. Over the woman who built your entire life. You didn't build my life. I built this company. My code. My vision. Your code was worthless without me. The silence that followed was deafening. Elena had grabbed her chest, stumbled slightly. Elena? I made you, she'd whispered. Her breathing labored. You were nothing. And I made you everything. And this is how you thank me. By choosing strangers over your wife. By believing lies over 15 years of loyalty. If you're so loyal, explain the money. I can't, she gasped. I can't breathe right. Stop being dramatic, my heart. Elena had collapsed to her knees. Marcus, Elena. He'd rushed around the desk, but she'd held up a hand. Don't touch me. You've already killed me. This is just my body catching up. I'm calling 911. They won't make it. She looked up at him, tears streaming. Read the folder, please. Promise me you'll read it. Elena, stay with me. I loved you. I need you to know that. Whatever you believe. I only ever loved you. The ambulance is coming. Just hold on. Tell my mother. Tell her I tried. Tell her I fought for us until the end. Elena, please. She'd smiled at him one last time. That same careful, professional smile from the church basement 15 years ago. I hope it was worth it, Marcus. I hope the empire keeps you warm. Then her eyes had closed. After, the paramedics had worked on her for 40 minutes. But Elena's heart had simply stopped. The medical examiner ruled it natural causes. Acute cardiac arrest, exacerbated by extreme emotional distress. But Marcus knew he'd killed her, not with his hands, but with his words, his accusations, his refusal to listen. 30 minutes after the ambulance took her body away, the forensic accountant delivered the final report. The real one, the independent one, the one Elena had commissioned. Every wire authorization flagged as forged. Digital signatures that didn't match. IP addresses traced to Jason Trent's home and office. A pattern of systematic embezzlement going back 18 months, carefully disguised to implicate Elena. Jason had been stealing from Titan, building a case against Elena, planning to force her out and consolidate power. And Marcus had handed him exactly what he needed. Marcus had read the entire report, then Elena's email, then the folder she'd brought to the office. Every piece of evidence she'd tried to show him, all of it proving her innocence, all of it showing the truth she'd begged him to see. She'd been trying to save him, to protect the company they'd built together, and he destroyed her for it. The reckoning. Jason Trent was arrested 3 days later. The FBI investigation uncovered $8.4 million in embezzled funds. He'd been planning to disappear to the Cayman Islands within the month. Sarah Chun and David Park had been accomplices. Smaller roles, but complicit. They'd helped isolate Elena, spread rumors, validate Jason's fabricated evidence. All three were sentenced to federal prison. The media called it one of the biggest corporate fraud cases of the decade. Marcus's reputation was destroyed, not for the fraud he'd been a victim, but for what happened to Elena. The press found out about the confrontation, about his accusations, about her death. From partner to pariah, how Marcus Bentley destroyed the person who made him. Marcus gave control of Titan Industries to Elena's mother. Everything, his shares, his voting rights, his position. He kept nothing. "I can't run the company she built," he'd told the board. "Not after what I did." He tried to attend Elena's funeral. Her mother had security remove him. "You killed my daughter," Mrs. Rodriguez had said quietly. "You don't get to mourn her." The present. Marcus stood in his penthouse, the one Elena had helped design, staring at the city. Titan Industries still existed, still thrived. Elena's mother had appointed a new CEO who ran it according to Elena's principles: employee-focused, sustainable growth, strategic partnerships. Everything Elena had built, Marcus had nothing. Billions in the bank that he couldn't touch without feeling sick. A reputation destroyed. Friends who'd abandoned him. Family who looked at him with pity and disgust. But worst of all, he had the memories. Elena laughing in that church basement. Elena sketching business plans at 2 a.m. in a diner. Elena celebrating their first major client. Elena saying yes to his proposal. Elena building their empire brick by brick while he got all the credit. Elena begging him to listen, to trust her, to remember who they'd been, and him choosing suspicion over 15 years of loyalty. Marcus pulled out his phone, opened the photos, found the one from their wedding day. Elena in a simple white dress, smiling at him like he was her entire world. Because he had been, and he'd repaid her by destroying her. The worst part wasn't the guilt. Guilt could be managed, compartmentalized, survived. The worst part was understanding too late, always too late exactly what he'd lost. Not the money, not the company, not the reputation. He'd lost the only person who'd ever truly believed in him, who'd seen him when he was nothing and built him into everything. The only person who'd loved him unconditionally, who'd fought for him until her heart literally stopped, and he'd murdered her with his doubt. Marcus set down his phone and picked up the folder Elena had brought that final day. He'd read it 1,000 times. Every page memorized, every piece of evidence she'd tried to show him burned into his brain. She'd been right about everything, and he'd been too arrogant, too paranoid, too stupid to listen. The champagne glass shattered against marble again. Different glass, same fury, same devastating grief. Marcus Bentley had everything money could buy, and absolutely nothing that mattered. Elena's final letter. The lawyers had delivered it a week after her death, found in her safety deposit box, to be opened if she died. Marcus had read it once, just once. He couldn't survive reading it again. "My dearest Marcus, if you're reading this, I'm gone. And if the circumstances are what I think they might be, then you're probably destroying yourself with guilt. Stop. I don't forgive you, I can't, because there's nothing to forgive. You were manipulated, deceived, isolated from the truth by people who knew exactly how to exploit your insecurities. You were afraid I'd leave you, afraid you didn't deserve me, afraid that success would change me. I wish I'd seen it sooner. I wish I'd fought harder against the poison they were dripping in your ear. But I also understand why you believe them, because we lived in a world where people do betray each other for money, where partnerships dissolve and love turns transactional. You wanted to believe in us, but your fear was stronger. I'm not angry, I'm heartbroken, but not angry. I hope you remember the good parts, the church basement, the diner, the first client, our wedding, the IPO, the 1,000 tiny moments when it was just us against the world. That was real. All of it was real. And I need you to know, I never regretted a single second. Not the struggle, not the sacrifice, not even the end. Because I loved you, completely, unconditionally, forever. Build something beautiful with what's left, Marcus. Don't let guilt destroy what we created. Live for both of us. With all my love, Elena. P.S. The evidence is in folder 7B of my office files. Make them pay for what they did to us. Marcus had made them pay. Jason, Sarah, David all in prison. But it didn't bring her back. Nothing would bring her back. Marcus walked to the window and pressed his forehead against the glass one more time. 73 stories above a city he'd conquered. Completely, utterly alone. The empire he'd chosen over the only person who'd ever truly loved him. The end. See you on the next story. Please like, comment, and share this story.